Hello YouTube, it's GoPronopper, and I have to make this super quick because I am out of time, and I was hoping to have this released today, so I'm gonna get it done. Here's another camera haul for you. Here we go. First up, we have this Kodak Signet 35 from an antique mall. This one had been there for a couple years. They originally wanted 45 bucks for it. I paid $5 because it had been there so long and it was in such rough shape. Came with the case, a filter attachment which isn't shown, and the manual. Took me forever to get working too. If you have seen my insane Goodwill camera find video, these next three items should look very familiar. Here's the Minolta Maxim 5000 that I got for free due to a broken shutter. It works now. Nice autofocus SLR. Don't really have a use for it, so I might consider trading that with someone. Here's the Argus Autronic 35 in the case. $10 from the camera store. Selenium cell does not work. Fortunately, I can still manually control the shutter speeds and aperture. Really neat camera, especially that pop-up rewind lever. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth video on it, but that thing just screams Argus. And this is the one that I released a thoughts on video for today. This is probably my best Goodwill find. For $20, a Kodak Retina 1B. So there's that. Awesome camera. Go check out the video on that if you'd like to see some sample images. They're not the best. I'm not a great photographer, but I did have fun with it. The postman was so kind to bring me this one in a timely fashion. This is a Zeiss Icon Iconta. I know the manual says Contina 1, but read it. Iconta. Say it with me. Iconta. There you go. Anyways, this is essentially a non-rangefinder version of the Contessa with a different lens. Phenomenal little camera. I am very excited to use it. This one was $17. That's 10 plus 7 shipping. Way more expensive than I'd normally pay for a camera like this, but I had to make an exception for this one because these are pretty hard to find. A trip to my local antique mall resulted in one of my most interesting finds in a while. My first ever Diana clone. This one is a Mark L working. It is essentially a 120 film box camera. And if you know anything about the lomography movement, this is all over the place. Paid $8 for it, which is an excellent price for a Diana clone like this. And stemming from that same trip to the antique mall, long story short, the owner overheard me talking about this lens. It was broken, so she gave it to me to try and fix, and unfortunately I was not able to fix it. And she just told me to keep it. This is an Argus Sandmar 35mm lens for the Argus C3. Like I said, that one cost me nothing. Unfortunately, it still doesn't work though. The aperture is completely stuck. A trip to a different antique mall resulted in this find. This is a Polaroid automatic land camera, model 240. And the reason I bought this one is because they originally wanted 15 bucks for it, but they were having a half-off sale at the time, which resulted in a price of $7.50. And I bought it because there's some Fuji FP100C in it, which now costs, if I recall correctly, about $40 a pack, which is way too much. So that is my last stock of FP100C. After this, I will likely never shoot it again unless the Impossible Project starts doing pack films. A trip back to that same antique mall from before where I got the Mark L resulted in something I thought kind of hilarious. This is the original Diana with the original box and instruction manual and lens cap. This thing is in phenomenal shape. It was stored in the box over all these years. Even better shape than the Mark L, if I do say so myself. And the coolest thing about this one was the price. It was cheaper than the Mark L by 50 cents. It included the box, manual, and camera, which I found outstanding. This one works too, of course. Let's see, what time are we at? And we're right on schedule. Neat. Sorry, I have to go to bed very soon, and if I don't finish filming this, I won't get to upload it. Okay. We'll cover this next. This one was picked up for $5, mainly because it was missing the kit lens, but we have a Honeywell Pentax Spotmatic 35mm SLR, body only. Working fine. To me, this one just kind of feels like a K1000 with a M42 mount. Obviously, it takes those fantastic Takumar lenses, but overall, a less fully featured SLR. This would be a great entry-level body for M42 screw mount lenses. Another trip to my local Goodwill resulted in a Polaroid iZone clear. Very inexpensive at 50 cents. I bought it mainly because I wanted a clear example of these, and this one was stupid cheap. So that one was a no-brainer for me. The other find, I didn't actually pay 10 bucks for this. I paid $7.50, is, as you can see by the big Polaroid case. I bet you can guess what it already is, actually. This one is a color pack camera, specifically the Super Color Pack. And this one takes both types of pack film, the Type 100 and Type 88. As you can see, it works just fine, in really good shape. And I can never really say no to these things because there's just so many different varieties. It is my second color pack camera. Snaps in. Very nice case too. This is one of the most unusual cameras I have in my collection. This one was purchased from my local thrift store for $10. Oh my god, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, that was disgusting, I apologize. Anyways, this one was $15. Or, excuse me, 10. Gosh dang it. They originally wanted 40 for it, but the reason it's so cheap is because it's missing the rewind knob. The film advance is jammed, and the motor drive is dead, essentially. But if you turn it on, you can hear the flash power up. And if you flip this switch, it turns the ring light on, which is super cool. This is a 50mm macro camera, fixed lens SLR, and it came with the case. This thing is just such a cool camera, and maybe I'll be able to fix it if I can find a way to remove the motor drive and unjam the camera. My most frequented local antique mall had a new dealer show up recently with tons of cameras. Unfortunately, they are horrendously overpriced. Take, for example, this Olympus OMG that they originally wanted $50 for. Now, this thing came with the 28mm OM System G Zucchio lens. Now, I wanted a 50mm kit lens. Unfortunately, they had that mounted on an OM1 that they wanted $100 for, which is insane. They were having a 50% off at the time, and that was still too much for me. I ended up walking out of there with this thing for $10 because it was jammed at the time. Unbeknownst to me, it just needed some new batteries and some helping of the mirror, and it now works just fine, lens included. I don't know if you can really see the aperture working in there. Difficult to see, but it's there, I assure you. But that 28mm lens, in hindsight, is pretty cool. Saving the best for last, I bought this camera today. This is a Kodak Motormatic 35, and this one has a working motor drive. Right now I have a roll of expired film in there, just to test the drive, make sure it works, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much. But this thing was $10 in its current condition, which is pretty phenomenal for one of these. Bought from the same lady who gave me that lens. And this thing is super nice, in really good shape. Best working Motormatic 35 I've ever seen. And best for last. For those of you who don't know, I own a Zeiss Contax 2, and unfortunately, the shutter straps broke on it recently, and I was hoping this camera would help me remedy that solution by giving me the necessary experience to repair it, and boy was I surprised. This is a Kiev 4 with the Jupiter 50mm f2 lens that I picked up for $20 total off of eBay. Like I said, I don't ever buy cameras off of eBay unless it's a very special circumstance. Came with the Jupiter lens, as I said, and the thing that caught me most off guard was that this camera works. I did not expect to find this thing functioning. Here's the slow speeds. I am completely amazed. I did not expect any of it to work. Even the top shutter speed, flawless. I don't think I could have found a better example at that price. Unfortunately, the meter is dead, but that doesn't really surprise me or hurt me because I use Sunny 16 when I do exposures. Anyways, super cool camera, and I hope I can do an in-depth on this one later. Trying to think, is there anything I missed? I do not believe so. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.